It's a pleasure for me to address all of you. আমি সত্যি আজকে বাধিত যে আপনারা আমাকে ডেকেছেন, আপনাদের মধ্যে এসে আমি নিজেকে গর্বিত মনে করি। I am delighted that the president of NASSCOM, whom I have known, as he said, for many, many years, I am delighted to know that we went to the same school and the same college and never knew about it for 25 years. I didn't even know he studied in Kolkata. So there is a magnetic attraction, Honorable Mr. Chandrasekhar, for you and Kolkata, and we brought it together in this program. I'm so delighted that you're here. Please give him a big hand, a man of tremendous reputation. I met him first time perhaps when I went to see the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, and he was driving the whole IT space and gave a quick review of our team. I was not alone, and I still remember those days. We were all much younger, maybe 20 years ago. And so I'm delighted to have you here with us, President of NASSCOM. And I'm also very happy that we have the Product Council Chairperson, Mr. Ravi Gururaj. I saw you on the screen on your inputs. I'm delighted that you're here. You're the chairperson of the Product Council. Of course, Mr. Rajiv Vaishnav, the Vice President who spoke at the beginning of NASSCOM, thank you for being with us. And Mr. Kamal Agarwal, who heads the region in terms of NASSCOM, and you've been very proactive in this event. And the Government of West Bengal, under Mr. Tiwari's leadership as Additional Chief Secretary, who himself happens to be, though he's IAS, he did his degree in information technology from Roorkee, and therefore somebody who's really on the inside track, but of course Additional Chief Secretary. He has been pushing me that we must interact more, and therefore I left everything and I came because I think it's a great honor. Mr. Nirupam Chaudhary, I believe you're the regional head of Eastern Council. You've been very, very helpful. I know you'll hide somewhere, but I know that young people like you inspire us very much, because at the ground level you support your regional head. I'm delighted that the deputy you're the Consul General, Deputy Consul, High Commissioner, Deputy High Commissioner of UK is here. Please give him a big hand. He is not only a tall man in person, but also we have had the occasion to interact. In fact, the Prime Minister of UK came, which was something that you swung when you had come, and it was a pleasure. I went along with the Honourable Chief Minister. I happen to know some of the ministers in the UK government, one of whom is a very good friend I've known for a while. And I'm delighted that UK, a major center of IT, is here. I still recall going to Ireland, where HCL had taken over the BT's IT center of 900 people at that time, probably less than that. And I remember visiting that, and there wasn't a single Indian. And I visited that some years later. The numbers had grown to 3,000. It's all local people. And I think the second largest investor in UK. So I remember visiting Belfast, which used to be a center of conflict. Here it was, a beautiful IT center in there, by an Indian company, among many other Indian companies. So I was delighted. I know that you're at the cutting edge of the technology in UK, and delighted to have you here, and we hope to get some support from you in terms of ideation and the future. Well, let me first start by saying, of course, the Managing Director, Webel, is here. Thank you very much for being here, because I think he was here. There you are, sir, Mr. Das. Webel is a major company under our Information Technology Department. We also have our advisor for marketing. The whole team is here from West Bengal government. I welcome most of all the young people here. Whether you're young or old, my age doesn't matter. IT bug has caught you, and therefore you're here. Welcome to you all this morning. I'm delighted that you're spending your valuable time here indeed. I'll take 2 minutes in describing what is the perspective of the West Bengal government. Well, the focus is on a number of things. ITES, of course, and today I learnt from Mr. Chandrasekhar's wonderful introductory speech and a welcome speech on product versus services. This differentiation is very important. They are complementary, yes, but I think the focus is more on services, but whereas the world is moved on to products, and therefore you're having this product conference. So our government is focused on ITES in a variety of ways. I'll come to in a second. Electronics, systems design and manufacturing, ESDM. And I'll tell you in a moment what we are doing about it. Khali kotha bolchi na, kaaj ki korchi setao janabo. So second is the electronics, systems design and manufacturing. Within ITES, I just got an SMS last evening after a long time from an old friend of mine who's become very big and from Bengal. Taposh, all of you know Taposh Chakravarti, an animation. I suddenly got an SMS. I mean, it was deja vu. You know, I was coming to NASSCOM this morning. I haven't talked to him for 4 years. And he employs how many people? How many animators does he employ? At one time, about 4,500 animators, and many of them from Bengal, but located in Hyderabad. So I got a very welcome SMS from him, which means that he has interest back into Bengal as well. I remember going to Paris, where he was there, and I learned subsequently that he has taken over a French company from a small town in Bengal to rise to that level. Why? Because there's creativity in this great city and in this great state. Combine that with IT and you have the most headiest mixture. Let me submit to you, my life began in computers in 1974 when I started working on my doctoral dissertation. But the young people will not know that there were cards then, 80-column cards, which you had to punch. And my wife, who was doing her PhD as well, she and I, and there were some young Indians, I would get something like $2.50 an hour to punch other people's cards because they didn't know how to, the punching machine. And I jumped then in my life feeding those cards, and you know what I used? I used a new software which nobody ever had. You know, these were big computers in big rooms, but here was something called SPSS. Statistical Package for Social Sciences, discovered between Stanford and Johns Hopkins. 3 o'clock in the morning, I would call up Stanford. There's a bug, I can't operate. Now, subsequently, I realized when I wanted to do two-stage least square analysis, for which SPSS was not capable. Today it is, it wasn't then. You couldn't even do single equation regression. So I had to I took a teaching position for 1 year, finishing my doctoral dissertation, to live close to Johns Hopkins, because it had a software called TSP. TSP could do two-stage least squares. And then came my pain, which was when I went back to teach in the mid-80s. The campus decided that there was a competition between IBM and Apple. And the campus professors decided finally, after much debate, and academics are very good at debates, they decided that we will adopt Apple. So every professor was given an Apple. You know what it was? It had no memory. You had to put in a diskette. And it was 511K, just a box. And I got that and moved it into the house. And I still remember the pain. I had to present a paper at a major international conference, working on it for 20 days, and storing it in the disk. There was no storage space. And at about 9 o'clock in the evening, when I was done, 22 pages, with equations and many things, I suddenly found it had gone. What a pain. I didn't know what to do. I had to send the paper next morning. So I struggled all night for about 18 hours and rewrote the paper. And today the young people talk of gigabytes and what else, you know, the memory space and little phones have all this. So the evolution from mid-80s to today is revolutionary in human civilization. I don't think anything like this has happened in anywhere else. And my submission, Kurzweil wrote a book about 6 years ago, saying all your body parts will become replaceable very soon, which is through nanotechnology. Imagine the day when you have a liver problem and you just walk up to a shelf and you get a liver for yourself. I mean, of course, you know the bionic man and all that. 30 years ago, you used to have television shows. But today, that is moving to reality. That's the products, which has built into its software. I don't know anything much about software. I did not learn and all my friends are learning Java in my time. I didn't want to learn. I only wanted to do some packages. I'm an economist, and I don't deal with this field. And therefore, I constantly go back to Mr. Tiwari and others to try and learn from them as a minister. Ministers usually are dumb like me, but I go back and learn from them. Let me quickly sum up what's the vision. Vision is ITS, electronic system design and manufacture. And of course, within this, animation and gaming, financial services, engineering designs, life sciences, e-taxation. West Bengal, as many of the journalists sitting here know, that West Bengal has perhaps in many areas become #1 in e-taxation today. So we've collected 21,000 crores when I came to office. Today this year we'll collect 40,000 crores. How? It is IT. Where we have today, it's the only state in the country where you have to file VAT registration electronically with a digitized signature compulsorily, and you get back a dematerialized VAT certificate with a digitized signature. No government officer to be connected to. If we did not have IT, this kind of transparency and ease would not have been possible. In e-governance, we have done massive work, to which I'll come in a second. E-literacy, very important. The young people all grow up today. They're born with and grow up with computers. But not everybody. There is a digital divide. I am elected by a constituency where 75,000 people are rural. 75,000 voters are rural. Do they have the same opportunity as the next town? Khordha is the town. Many of them are IT engaged. But here is around the town 75,000 voters, 300,000 people who are perhaps disconnected with the digital divide. Our government under Mamata Banerjee is very committed that we must take this to the grassroots level. And I'll come to it in a second. Entrepreneurial development. There can be no IT without entrepreneurial development. So we are looking at entrepreneurial development, and I'll come to it shortly. Research and development, another vision of the government. You're aware that without R&D, we cannot move forward, and intellectual property is very important in that process. Your intellectual property, we will protect. So my submission is that in that plan, we have an ecosystem. What is the ecosystem? Of course, ecosystem means that we have the best institutions of India in and around us, who are providing inputs. IIT Kharagpur. Now I believe it's considered the best IIT in the country. IIM Calcutta. It's received perhaps the best position, at least among the top few, perhaps this year the best. So Indian Statistical Institute, where I still remember when I was in college, they were doing computers. They had a massive room and a huge machine. So not today. ISI started computational work much earlier. Indian Institute of Engineering, Science and Technology, which used to be which is now called BESU, Jadavpur University, Presidency University, St. Xavier's is becoming a university, and of course a whole lot of centers of excellence in the state. So we have an ecosystem that we need to draw on, which we will, encouraged by NASSCOM. We will draw the ecosystem from the ecosystem value. So it is in this ecosystem environment that we are building up IT, ITS, electronics, especially electronic systems design and manufacturing, R&D, and small and medium enterprises as the basic focus. That's the real jobs where they are. Small and medium enterprises in the ICT sector. Now, you would want to ask, কি সুবিধা দিচ্ছেন আপনি? What are the advantages you are giving us? Well, you'll be happy to know the state has an IT policy. Done in 2012, after we came to office, we did a new IT policy, modernized IT policy. What does it do? Capital investment subsidy, reimbursement of stamp duty and registration charges. Now, as finance minister, it pains me when I give up stamp duty and registration charges, but it excites me as IT minister. Then we look at employment generation subsidy, beautiful subsidy, interest subsidy, training subsidy, waiver of electricity duty. All of this are available in the policy to encourage the IT sector in this great state. Let me move to the next issue. What is the geographic location we want to have this happen? Of course, Kolkata. Of course, Salt Lake, as if we are right in the middle of it. All that is known. Rajarhat is coming up. Newtown is coming up. But we would like to tap the energy of the Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. That is where the future lies, as you said, I think, in your opening statement. It is the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities which are going to be the centers of the future. Now, what are we doing towards that? We don't talk only. We are building 13 IT parks in this state. 13 IT parks, of which I think 8 are already under construction and 5 more will happen. And where are they located? Primarily in Tier 2, am I right, Mr. Tiwari? Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, where there's a critical mass coming up among the young people. So first, that's a vision of Mamata Banerjee. Go to the grassroots, go to the Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. This is what she had suggested. And we are pushing in that direction with the IT parks. Now, one by one, the IT parks will be completed. We would like to seek NASSCOM's help as a partner in bringing us IT companies into the IT parks. You will kindly promote for us these IT parks because you have the critical mass of people. So we rely on it. That is very, very important. 6 locations are notified by the Government of India of development of hardware industry, brownfield clusters. Which are these? Kolkata, Howrah, Durgapur, Kharagpur, Haldia, Siliguri. These are brownfield. Then you have greenfield electronic manufacturing clusters. And we are building 2 greenfield electronic manufacturing clusters, Mr. Tiwari. These would be the centers of greenfield electronics manufacturing cluster. We're already beginning to get some input. We'll market these massively. So for the IT parks, we'd like to seek your help. When you take a delegation abroad, carry our literature. Maybe if it is already predefined deliverables in the meeting, take our people. Somebody will represent us and talk about these IT parks. Let me go to the next element. All that is talk. Let's come down to reality. Export software and services. What has that been? Well, in 2011-12, after about a year in office by this government, it was 9,521 crores. 9,521 crores. By 2012-13, it has grown to 11,200 crores. That's the export from West Bengal. People don't know that. 18% growth. The latest figures haven't come in. I would not be surprised if we beat even the 18% mark, because there's huge growth happening. Who all are here? 800 IT and ITS companies in Bengal. 800 IT and ITS companies in Bengal at least. I'm told that's a minimum. And we are doing a survey. Mr. Tiwari is doing a survey. This is the initial outcome of the survey, that over 800. When survey is completed, I would not be surprised if it crosses 1,000 at the end of the day. Well, these are small and medium enterprises, many of them. That's what we treasure. But are the big people not here? Of course they are here. TCS, IBM, Cognizant, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, Accenture, Capgemini, Ericsson, HCL Technologies, PwC, HSBC's Electronics. I was speaking once, we are building a financial hub very nearby. 10 banks have already taken their position. They've started, some of them will start construction very soon. State Bank is building the largest training center for all of India, just across the road. They've taken 8 acres of land. So in that context, I said to Naina Lal Kidwai, another good friend of Mr. Chandrasekhar and mine, I said to Naina, why doesn't HSBC come and take a space in the hub? She said, Amit, I already have 4,000 people working for me in the back office of HSBC. I was surprised. People don't know this. 4,000 people already working on most advanced, sophisticated back office work of the bank. So she said, once we expand, we will come and join the financial hub. So there you are. Siemens is here. Atos Origin, Genpact, you name the big company who's here. But equally valuable, if not even more, is that small and medium enterprises, where the brain functions faster, flexible movements. You'll be happy to know that the first phase of the facility of TCS has gone operational now, 2,500 capacity. Now they are building a 20,000 people center. The head of TCS, with the namesake of Chandrasekhar, the Chandrasekharan perhaps, he announced in Mumbai, sir, to the Honorable Chief Minister that we will have 16,000 people, additional people. Now they have upped it to 20,000 additional people coming up. Cognizant has built a second tower of 500 people. It's ready to go. And ITC Infotech has been given 17 acres of land by the government, which they have bought it at a very nominal price, and they're going to build a new ITC Infotech huge structure. I could go on speaking on what all is happening. I've just given you 3 examples. Microsoft Corporation has offered to set up a center of excellence, an innovation center, which Mr. Tiwari informed me about. File came to me, I looked at it. I said, look, we need to have a common brand. You know, I've worked with brands before. So Microsoft, Government of West Bengal, develop a common brand, so we have a synergy between the two. And we are in the process of finalizing the Microsoft's Center of Excellence and Innovation Center. Perhaps among the first in West Bengal for the first time, among the very few in the country, because they know the critical mass here. Even in the hardware area, Samsung is setting up a center for training. It'll completely do the inside. We'll just provide the space. And they have offered 100% placement. My condition with them was, no training really is effective till you have a placement figure. And they'll take 100%. And that will, of course, will relate to hardware. Using software, computers, they will do, perhaps, hopefully, they will do product design in the future from out of this training center. So I would like to step back and ask myself, what are the other issues? E-District. We have got a project of E-District. Government payment system, entirely on computer systems. Integrated financial management system. Every rupee that will move in West Bengal in the next 3-4 months will be captured by the integrated financial management system. Mobile governance. Localization of digital content. And we are doing massive digitization of government records. Mr. Chandrasekhar will know, and I know now after joining the government, what massive number of files remain in each office. We'll digitize them stage by stage, so nothing can be lost. Nothing can be thrown away with any interest, of anybody's interest. Everything will be digitized. Now I move finally to the NASSCOM Product Conclave 2014's big offer by the President, Mr. Chandrasekhar. Your title is President, sir? President of NASSCOM. Before I do that, I'd just like to reflect for a moment. I had a good friend. He used to come and see me sometimes when I was in my past life, Fiki. His name was Devang Mehta. Today I remember Devang. He called me about 8 hours before perhaps he passed away in Australia. And you know why he called me? I had said to him, Devang, you're going to fly from Australia to LA, where we have a big event being done by the chamber. I'd like to come and request you to address. I know you'll cross a time zone. When you fly from Australia to Los Angeles, you cross a time zone, and that hurts your body. You know, he said, Amit, tomorrow morning I'll give you a call. I'll try to reroute myself. And I never heard from him again because he had passed away that night. But I'll never forget the day when I went with Devang, NASSCOM president then, somebody who initiated this process. When I went with Devang to Gujarat, many years ago, we had gone to the border of Maharashtra and Gujarat, and there was a woman who was making a fabric. And he looked at it and he said, Amit, this can become a tie for men to wear. This is a perfect fabric. I said, you're right, but how is she going to market herself? He said, I'll market her. And 5 years later, I learned that she had become a crorepati because it was through IT marketing of her product, through NASSCOM, that finally got her into the global market. So I today remember him. I therefore shift to that whole spirit of incubation. Mr. Chandrasekhar, you have kindly offered that you will set up from NASSCOM, ready to set up an incubation center in Kolkata, which will create entrepreneurs, not only technologists. 10,000 startups you have already, with 40,000 applications. I am delighted, on behalf of the West Bengal government, to announce that we accept your kind offer. Not only accept, we will give you 10,000 square feet in Sector 5, ready to go with Webel. Managing Director is here. Do you agree, sir? On the ground floor, 10,000 square feet to start with, as per in response to your kind offer. And as you and I were discussing, someday NASSCOM will bring us Zuckerberg to talk in that center, Bill Gates to talk, Nadella to talk, Sabir Bhatia to come and talk, Naveen Tiwari, or for that matter, the Bansals of the Flipkart, Vinod Khosla, whom I also know very well. Someday, this center will expand into the incubation. I may make an additional request. Yes, we'll give you the space. It's ready to go. Tomorrow you want it, we start work on it. That's the way this government works. Not only that, let me make one more submission. Please bring with you, and we will work with you, on angel investors and venture capital. We will work with you because those young people who incubate there are going to have financial options for which we must rely on NASSCOM. And you know that I have known some of the people who are chairpersons of these associations who are all part of NASSCOM. I will request you to kindly bring not only their technical capability, but to combine it with a realistic process. Government, if required, will provide time and effort on how at this incubation center, how do you do a balance sheet? How do you manage government permissions? How do you get the subsidies? So we will work together in this incubation center as seamlessly between government and NASSCOM. So my first substantive deliverable today is a clear 10,000 square foot space with two 5,000 square foot space which we have kept quietly. If the incubation center takes off, Webel would be ready as permitted by Additional Chief Secretary of the IT department, Mr. Tiwari, will be ready, waiting that if this takes off, you will still have more space. But the 10,000 square feet is given. All it is for your taking. Everything is ready. You will have to simply work with us to how people can just simply come and plug in and they start their entrepreneurship. I still remember there was a young man working with me when I was in the chamber. Brilliant guy. I trained him over 4 years. Outstanding mind. One day he came to me and said, "Sir, my wife has got transferred to Singapore. And I have been offered by the Singapore government to take an entrepreneurial visa." So, excuse me, what is an entrepreneur's visa? They have an incubation center where they are willing to give me some 100 square feet, and I want to try my luck with a company. So it is nothing new, but what is important is they don't have our ecosystem. They don't have the human capital I think that we have. It's a small city state, very smart, but we have the physical capacity to give you numbers. My second offer, my second submission to you, Triple IT. You'll be happy to know when Mr. Tiwari came to me and said we need to have a state steering committee which will steer it, Triple IT in Kollani. I said, please first stay a senior person from NASSCOM. So, I'm very happy that Mr. Kamal Agarwal has joined the steering committee, like the board, on behalf of NASSCOM, to steer IIIT. And in IIIT, I am delighted to learn that we would like NASSCOM to partner with us in IIIT in terms of technological development, in terms of entrepreneurship development. I would request NASSCOM to bring the top minds of the world and of India to come and join us in IIIT for the students. 60 students will be taken in. It will start in a temporary housing right now. 50 acres have been allocated to it by the government of West Bengal. It is already starting in August. 60 students will be taken in. And the mentor institution will be the NIT, the Shibpur, what has a new name? What is the name of Shibpur now? Yes, Indian Institute of Engineering, Science and Technology, formerly BESU, has become a national institution now. Director of that institution has become the mentor, Vice Chancellor, in effect like the Vice Chancellor, Director, who's already set up the course curriculum. We are going in soon for advertising. And what is very good in that will be, there will be scholarships for those young minds who cannot afford them. The government will provide a significant number of scholarships for the relatively disadvantaged, but who have a brilliant mind, who get into the IIIT. They will not be falling short of money as a source. The government will make sure that a good proportion of the students come from areas where their minds are open, where they have managed to get in through the competitive exam, may not have the finances. We will provide the finances for those students. That's the model you know in the United States. Top universities offer. I went there as research assistant or teaching assistant, and my tuition was free. Otherwise, I could never have paid $40,000 tuition at Duke University. Impossible. So we will have the same as Indian model, where we will look at disadvantaged people from SC, ST, OBC, plus the general category, who are financially handicapped. We will provide scholarships into that IIIT. And I would request NASSCOM, in conclusion, please join us in the IIIT as the mentor institution. We don't have a mentor organization, we have a mentor engineering institution. But we would like you to bring us the tremendous value proposition you have in your system. And I conclude by saying that it's a great honor and a great pleasure first to come and meet Mr. Chandrasekhar after a while. He's become the president. Of course, your top industrialist sitting here. And most importantly, Mamata Banerjee started e-tendering in the railways. Did you know that? I chaired the PPP committee of the railway. She appointed me. But she told me one day, Amit, this corruption can be fought by technology. Let's start e-tendering. That's why when she became chief minister, came to Bengal, all 63 departments of this state cannot procure anything other than by e-tendering. And now she has announced in a public meeting that we will go down to the municipal level and the panchayat level in e-tendering. So therefore, IT use in governance is something she has initiated, and I as IT minister will take that forward. Thank you very much for inviting me. What a pleasure and what an honor today to be with you. Thank you. Namaskar. Ami badhito apnara amake dekechen. Ami amake young chele mera jara ache tader bolbo ashun egiye choli. Subhash Chandra Bose bolechilen, when Subhash Chandra Bose reached Arakans, he said something very, very important. What did he say? Kadam kadam badhaye ja, khushi ka geet gaye ja, ye zindagi hai kaum ki, kaum par lutaye ja, kadam kadam badhaye ja. So this is the first step. We will move forward. Thank you. Dhanyabad. Namaskar. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, nothing less than a standing ovation for the kind of support the ecosystem has got today.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it was an absolutely scintillating talk by the Honorable Minister. And I would like to take a very brief opportunity to assure him that the two very important announcements that were made today, that you will see the kind of value that it brings and the kind of multiplier which NASSCOM promises that it will bring to these initiatives. You will see what this incubation center would trigger. It would trigger a whole tidal wave of entrepreneurship. NASSCOM on its part would bring the whole network of venture capitalists, mentors, leading figures, angel investors, and all of its support system for these entrepreneurs to make this ecosystem vibrant and capable of growing. And so also in the case of the IIIT, our involvement and engagement and helping it to grow not only as an institution of education, but also as a fountainhead of a lot of the entrepreneurial urge that exists, especially among talented youngsters. So I assure you on behalf of NASSCOM that we will do everything that we can to build on what you have given us today. Thank you very much once again.